It has long been accepted in paranormal circles the connection between water and spiritual entities. Some would argue that water conducts the elemental energy like electricity, and particularly moving water such as streams, rivers and the sea. Water is also the source of life, and it is that connection between life and death which binds non-corporeal beings to it. Add, if you will, a crossing point across moving water to an abandoned place which once thrived with human activity and tragedy, and then you have all that binds the dead to the world of the living. For one such place in the ancient lands of England, there lies tucked away from human activity a quiet still water, hidden in part by fallen and broken trees, and made more inaccessible by nettles and bracken, which smother the sinuous lines of the former ornamental lake, designed and overseen by the landscape architect Humphrey Repton in the year 1811. The ornamental lake was financed by a wealthy Essex family, who built a large country house there 10 or so years earlier. Repton was a much sought-after landscape gardener in affluent Regency society, and as the nouveau riche were in social competition with the old landed gentry, Repton's mark on the landscape would surely make them the envy of their peers in pre-Victorian England. But in order to achieve this social goal, it was necessary for an army of poorly paid labourers to dig out the lake by hand, and to tile the gardens to Repton's exact requirements. And in the process, many men, mostly from Ireland, came and died completing this monstrous task, and lamentably left their souls trapped by water to roam this now abandoned landscape. In fact, whenever anyone attends this forlorn and forsaken location, that heavy feeling of death and abandonment permeates the atmosphere like a dark shroud enveloping the twisted and broken trees lying in deep water and encapsulating the heavy undergrowth.
Keep up with those.
It's a good thing.
Quite some years ago, the lake was run and maintained by a fishing club whose members reported odd and strange events of an elemental kind occurring around its waters.
Now, the three of us were all seasoned anglers, spending much of our time fishing after dark, often alone, but this was something else. Something we had never experienced before or since, thank God. "I think I'll call it a night," I said. "Feels like a storm coming." The others agreed and said we would stop for a pint on the way home, and then it happened. From out of nowhere, a scream rang out, a scream so loud that you couldn't think straight. We froze to the spot and reached for our torches. They didn't work. 3 torches and not a glimmer between them. That scream turned to a wow, still loud on one long note, drowning our voices as we tried to speak.
Further mystery is added to the reputation of this site from local newspaper accounts. In 1924, 2 meteorites or fireballs allegedly collided over the site while 2 men were night fishing at the lake. The explosion was seen for miles and many fireballs scattered across the lake, with the water and surrounding land visibly shook. The men beneath thought this was the end of the world and expected to die. But as quickly as it happened, it instantaneously stopped, and all that was lit up as day returned to night. On inspection by police and notified military sources, no trace of any damage was found, and no aircraft were reported as missing. Was it a collision of 2 meteorites, or something off-world?